Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new episode of At the Buzzer Sports, where we talk all things basketball all the time. My name is John Drummond, and today we have a reaction video, the top 10 championship teams for the 2026 NBA season. Hey, I like seeing these. Who's everybody's top 10 contenders. I will be letting you guys know mine. I'm not necessarily like fully finished on the list. I think 1 through 3 is pretty clear. It would have been 1 through 4, but now it's like, are they up there with the it's tough because there's a bunch of teams that aren't healthy that if they do get healthy at the right time, they might mess around, make a deep run. We don't know. So before we get started, I think his name is Basketball Reach. He makes fantastic videos and he only has 22,000 subs. So anybody in my 2,000 subs, let's see if you guys can fix that. I don't know if I got the motion to be, but check his videos out. Let's get right into it. Oh snap, videos muted, There we go.
Starting us off at number 10, I have the Atlanta Hawks. Now, the Hawks
This is a good start. The Atlanta Hawks. Perfect. Good start. Now, with Atlanta, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on every team maybe before he goes or during the time. I do think Atlanta has a really good starting five. I would project that their starting five would be Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Reese-Shea, Jalen Johnson, and Kristaps Porzingis. You have guys like Onyeka Okongwu and Nickeil Alexander-Walker coming off the bench. My only concerns is the injury history of their front court with Jalen Johnson and Kristaps Porzingis. How much will they be able to play? And their creation outside of Trae Young. That's something that also concerns me very heavily. So we're going to see what he thinks about him.
Serious moves this offseason, and it's clear that they saw an opportunity when Boston, Milwaukee, and Indiana all took massive hits due to injury last postseason. The franchise has decided that this is their chance to break through and finally make a real run at the Eastern Conference. And honestly, with the roster they've put together, they have put themselves legitimately into the conversation. For me, though, everything about their title chances begins and ends with Trae Young. If Young can get back to his absolute scoring best, something close to that 2022 version of himself, where he averaged 28.4 points a night on 54% effective field goal shooting, while also running the show as a playmaker, that for me would...
I think a lot of this has to do with just Trae Young's height. Like, I don't think he's going to ever have some crazy efficient season just because of the height restraints. Like, with him having the ball as much as he does and with the height as well, like it's not even easy for him to get regular shots off like in the mid-range. That's why he resorts to floaters a lot, and he also has a really deep pull-up three-point shot that has to be guarded. It has to be respected. But yeah, that's the only thing with Trae Young. I don't think we're ever going to get, I think we can get high volume, don't get me wrong, but I don't think we're ever going to get some crazy efficient, like 27, 28 points per game on a 62% true shooting. I just don't think we're going to get that. But I don't think he has to be that level of efficient scorer. I think with him averaging 27, 28, 25, whatever, with the 9 to 11 assists a night, that's good enough for the Hawks to have a shot at an Eastern Conference or Finals appearance.
Be the first domino that has to fall. Last season, Young was down to just 24.2 points per game, which is certainly not terrible, but it was the efficiency that was rough. It was his second worst shooting season ever, only behind his rookie year, finishing at just 49% effective field goal shooting. His three-point shooting is the biggest swing factor here. Back in 2022, he was hitting 38% from deep, which is an incredible number, especially considering the types of shots he takes, but last year, that number went down to 34%. These shots have to start falling with the same level of accuracy that he was hitting them back in 2022 to really put Atlanta into the title conversation. But the difference this season compared to last is pretty night and day, because I believe he's going to have better spacing and more threats around him to hopefully better open up the floor, allowing Trae to take some easier looks more.
Do y'all think he's going to have Orlando in here? I hope he does. Because I truly think Orlando's better than Atlanta. But maybe I'm an idiot.
could bump up his efficiency right there, back up to where Atlanta needs it to be. But his scoring is only half of the picture, because Trey's playmaking has quietly become one of the best weapons in the entire league. He actually led the NBA last season with 11.6 assists per game, and he was doing that with teammates nowhere near the caliber of guys he's going to play alongside this season. And when you look at Atlanta's new starting five, I believe it is a major upgrade. You've got Trey running the point, another offseason of development from Dyson Daniels, Zachary Ricochet, and Jalen Johnson, while Kristaps Porzingis provides his 3-and-D abilities. That's a really well-rounded.
Hopefully we still get the Kristaps Porzingis that I think he can be. I think they're going to be able to create a lot of switches with that, and he can just mismatch hunt for the entire 48 minutes because, like, come on, that's what he was doing with Boston, but this is going to be a very different type of offense. I think Jalen Johnson also has some really good signs as a driver and as a passer and a transition player. Also has a roller, rebounder, lob threat. It's just the health. It's just the health with those guys. That's really what it is.
Are both off.
But I would say I have Atlanta at my 10 spot. Offensively
and defensively, I believe this team could be good enough to land themselves in the top 10 on both defense and offense this season. And if they're able to do that, they'll absolutely be a top threat in the East. And if everything goes right on the injury front, which is another concern for this team, then they do have a chance to win the title. I just don't think it's going to be as good as the other teams I'm about to mention.
He has the Clippers at 9.
Try imagining a place.
He has the Clippers at 9. I mean, I could understand it because when did this video come out? When did this video come out? Let's see. This video dropped 2 days ago. So he's aware of the Kawhi situation, and he's also aware of the Houston Rockets situation. So
mention. Now, coming in at number 9, I've got the Los Angeles Clippers, even though their ceiling could be flipped on its head overnight. Right now, they do sit here.
That's the only thing with the Clippers. Like, I'm not sure what's going to happen with the whole Kawhi Leonard situation. Like, again, I'm not as educated on the situation. I know what's going on, but I don't know what's entirely going on. I won't be making a video about it. But even outside of Kawhi Leonard, I think they've maximized play finishers around James Harden if or when Kawhi Leonard's not playing. You go and get Bradley Beal, who can have weak side pick and roll action, weak side ball handling responsibilities, who can catch and shoot, who can drive, who can get to the mid range. You bring in a guy like John Collins, who can also create out of pick and roll, but can also create with the ball in his hand, off the dribble, inside the arc. And then you still have Ivica Zubac, who is a really good pick and roll candidate with James Harden. You have your spot up shooters. I think the Clippers could be really good. And they don't have to force Kawhi to play 60, 65 games. But again, they're not contenders, or they're not top tier contenders that they are if Kawhi's not there. Like, I would really consider the Clippers to be a top 5 contender in this league if they had Kawhi Leonard and he was fully healthy going into a playoff run, because they have the defense, they have the offense, they have the play finishing, they also have the creation. You also get guys like Derrick Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn and Nicholas Batum, who are all three really good playoff defenders. And then you also get Brook Lopez, who's a really good drop coverage big, really good rebounding big, and can knock down the outside shot. I mean, this team is really good. The Clippers are, and they grab Chris Paul. I forgot about Chris Paul. But yeah, the Clippers are really good, man. They're the toughest team to rank in the NBA right now.
At number 9.
And I better not see Golden State in this video. I better not see them. I don't care about them signing Al Horford. I don't. That team does not scare me.
That standing is completely tied to the ongoing investigation into the Kawhi Leonard scandal, where the Clippers allegedly tried to get around the salary cap. If the league comes down really hard and decides to void Kawhi's contract, then that essentially wipes them out of title contention. But as things currently stand today, without a rule ruling just yet, this is where they belong. If the Clippers are found innocent, or even if the punishment isn't severe enough to strip them of their key guys, then I believe when we roll the ball out there, this team is good enough to be in the top 10 conversation. Their projected starting 5 is stacked with talent. James Harden running point, Bradley Beal at the 2, Kawhi Leonard on the wing, and then either John Collins or Derek Jones Jr. at the 4, with Ivica Zubac holding down the center spot. That alone gives them a star power balance, but what really rounds out this group is the bench unit. They managed to bring in Brook Lopez from Milwaukee, which is massive for the Clippers, giving them 48 minutes of legitimate center play every night, something they couldn't say that they had last season. Add in Nicholas Batum's steady veteran presence, Bogdan Bogdanovic, who
I
even
forgot
though
they
he
had
injured
Bogdan.
his hamstring
Okay.
in a Eurobasket, should come
forgot
back
they had
pretty early in the
Bogdan.
season and provide his scoring punch. And then of course, you've got the homecoming of Chris Paul, who could potentially see some minutes guiding the second unit, as suddenly they do have one of the deeper teams in the league. The pieces are clearly there for the Clippers to be dangerous, but all of this comes with a giant asterisk of uncertainty hanging over the entire franchise. Until the league makes their final call, it's almost impossible to know just how much this team will actually see the floor, if at all, if they do end up voiding Kawhi Leonard's contract. However, as it stands right now, I believe the Clippers are the 9th most likely team to win the title.
I had the
Now,
Clippers at
moving on
like
to number 8.
See, no, bro, no. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. I don't get the Warriors hype. Steph is great. Don't get me wrong. They're going to have a really good defense, but I don't think they're better than the Clippers or the Hawks. I just don't. Like, you bring in Al Horford. Great. I don't think Al Horford can be a starting center. I don't. Unless it's in a we have to understand, this Golden State team is not that 23-24 Boston team. Like, we have to understand that, because I know that's going to be a lot of people's pushback when they see this clip. Al Horford was the starting center for one of the best defenses in the league and one of the best offenses in the league for a stretch in the postseason when they were playing competition that was nowhere near to the level of Boston. I don't think Al Horford can be a starting center in today's NBA. This season, he can't. Their offense without Steph Curry bothers me. It bothers me. I don't know how Jimmy's going to look this season coming up. I don't know what you would expect from Quentin Post, Brandon Podziemski, Moses Moody. I don't know what to think of Jonathan Kuminga right now. I really don't. I think the Warriors can be a scary playoff team, but do I think they're a top 10 team in the league? I just don't. I don't see it. I don't see it in the supporting cast. I don't. Maybe they can surprise me, because this happens all the time with Golden State, but I just don't see it.
I've got the Golden State Warriors. This is a team
Convince
I
me,
really
Basketball
believed
Reach.
in last
Convince me.
season.
Convince me.
And honestly, if it hadn't been for a Steph Curry injury in round 2, I believe they could have had a real shot to make the Western Conference Finals. But heading into this season, they've already got one of the biggest question marks hanging over them, the Jonathan Kuminga standoff. As of right now, his restricted free agency dispute has still not been resolved, and Golden State has to make a decision before the 3rd day of training camp. Whether it's a sign and trade, with Sacramento being rumored, or if he does come back to the team, likely on a 1-year deal before he can hit unrestricted free agency in the following offseason, it really feels like his time with the Warriors is coming to an end. And until that decision is made, Golden State can't fully fill out the rest of their roster because they just don't know how much money they're going to have left over. At the time of recording, they're still sitting with just 9 players under contract. The big move, though, has already been made, and that was landing Jimmy Butler at last season's trade deadline. And he was an instant revelation. Jimmy patched up so many of the team's weaknesses, giving them second.
This is all I want to say. The Warriors are going to be a playoff team. They're going to be a playoff team. I think they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to have one of the best defenses in the league. I just don't see them as a top 10 team. I don't. I really don't. Like, I don't see them as a top 10 contender in the NBA. I just don't. And the deeper we get into this video, the more scared I'm getting that Orlando's not on this list. And he know better than not to put LA on the list. He know better. He know better. Like, I'm looking at the timestamps here. Like, I'm gonna cover it up real quick. Let me see if y'all can assume who's on here. I promise you I'm not looking. I promise you I'm not looking. Am I still on the? No, I went all the way up here. Okay. Anyway, he know better to not put LA on here, but to not have Orlando, really?
Secondary scoring, a switchable, reliable defensive player, and a steady playmaking option. But the problem for a team that was already old last season is that they just got even older. Staying healthy for older teams for an entire season and then still having enough gas to contend deep into May and June is really easier said than done. As things stand right now, the starting five will likely be Curry, Brandon Podziemski, Moses Moody, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. That is a solid group with plenty of
their starting lineup now is probably going to be Steph, Podziemski, Jimmy, Draymond, and Horford. I trust it. Like, it's going to be a good team. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like they're not going to make the playoffs or anything. And Steph on any given night can be the best player in the world. Like, I don't see it going deep into the playoffs unless they get a bunch of favorable matchups. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Play the video.
But of course, the bench depth is an issue because they only have 4 guys to come off that bench as I'm recording this video. There are strong rumors that Al Horford, Gary Payton II, and DeAnthony Melton could all join the team once the Kuminga situation is finalized, which would definitely give them some reliable off-the-bench pieces. But once again, that doesn't really help them with their overall age concerns, making an older group even older. Still, you have Steph Curry, who always gives you a shot.
Can y'all hear me
even
chewing?
In his late 30s,
Let me back up.
he is still one of the hardest players in the game to contain. Simply
we better
because
have
of his
Orlando better
God-given
be on this
ability
list, bro.
to shoot the basketball like no
Orlando
one
is
we've
so
ever
underrated.
seen before. Pair him with Jimmy, who brought exactly what Golden State had been missing last season, and this is a team that I believe is going to be dangerous once again. And now, coming in at number 7, we've got the Los Angeles Lakers.
I can see this.
Anytime you have 2...
I can see this. I can respect this. I think 6 or 7 was our, like, that's where our range was at. But I don't think the Magic are better than us. So I would assume he has the 4, which would be Denver, Cleveland, Houston, OKC. Then he probably has Minnesota and New York. Those are probably the 6 teams. I think we're better than New York, but hey.
Of the top 15 players in the game, you automatically have a chance at the championship. And this is exactly why the Lakers are here. All off season, the chatter has been about Luka getting into the best shape of his career. At Eurobasket, Doncic looked like maybe the best version of himself we've ever seen. Leaner, quicker, and more athletic than we're used to. And that really matters.
I've been talking about the Lakers all off season.
It addresses 2
I want to hear
big
what he
knocks
has to
on
say.
Luka throughout his career so far. His tendency to wear down late in games, and his struggles to stay healthy over the course of a full season. If this really is the new, fitter version of Luka, it could change everything. I mean, we're talking about a guy who, even when he was out of shape, was still better than 99% of the NBA. But put him in the best shape of his career, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him putting up something close to a 30-point triple-double on elite efficiency, nearly single-handedly carrying the Lakers up the standings, while giving you a chance to win any game on any given night.
Man, I think we can beat anybody. We can beat anybody. We can beat anyone. Anyone. We can beat anybody.
The Lakers don't just have Doncic though. They also still have LeBron James. Year 22, age 40, and the guy was still in the second team All-NBA while putting up 24.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 8.2 assists per game on 57% true shooting. Those are absolutely ludicrous numbers for anybody, let alone someone who's now in their 40s. What made last year even scarier from LeBron was that for the first time in his career, he actually shifted to being the team's second option. Instead of resisting that role, he embraced it, setting screens for Luka, cutting without the ball, trailing him on fast breaks for easy looks, while making all of the right reads as the role man. He just put his head down and did all of the little things the team needed to have the offense flow with him as the second option. And it absolutely worked. But the problem for the Lakers this season won't be about those two. Defensively, I believe they took a major step back this offseason, and the supporting cast raises a ton of questions. On paper, adding DeAndre Ayton after the Portland buyout, Marcus Smart and Jake LaRavia doesn't sound too bad. But what they lost was Dorian Finney-Smith, and he's a much bigger deal. DFS was the perfect fit next to Luka and LeBron, giving them elite defense.
Man, if we would have been able to keep DFS, bro. Oh. Bro, I could, man. DFS, he deserves better, bro. He was only with the Lakers for a half of a season. He deserves better, bro. He deserved better. And it just sucks that he had to go to Houston, man. Like, bro, you could have just came right on to LA. You know what I'm saying? Do what it do. One more year. But
really good three-point shooting, the exact type of player the team needs. And now they're basically asking LaRavia to fill that void, and that is a massive gamble. Then there's Ayton and Smart, both talented, but both come with baggage. Smart just has not been able to stay healthy for the last couple of years, and for Ayton, he just isn't the type of big man that I believe the Lakers really needed. He isn't an elite rim protector, and he doesn't bring the high motor, athletic, defensive kind of presence.
Now, I've been really positive with DeAndre Ayton. I've been really positive with DeAndre Ayton. But I'm going to say this. This is a contract year. We going to, you know what I'm saying? Spend the season, go get your money. That's fine. We need a center right now. If I'm looking out there and DeAndre Ayton is just not interested, he'd rather be anywhere else. You can't pull the roadways. The road waves are icy in southern Los Angeles. You can't do that. You can't do that, brother. Show up. Please, bro. I'm begging you, bro. I'm begging you. I've been sticking up for you for majority of the offseason. Help me out. Please.
Ideally want next to Luka Doncic. If anything, he might actually add to the Lakers' defensive issues, which is definitely not what they need.
But this is the thing. Okay, stop there. Because when DeAndre Ayton is locked in, he's a good defender. He's not like Rudy. Can't every big be Rudy? You know what I'm saying? But when he locks in, he's a good defender. But he ain't Chet. But
he'll look at the rotation around
right.
Luka and LeBron, guys like Austin Reeves, Rui
Bro, if
Hachimura.
Vando could just be okay offensively, bro, I wouldn't even be worried about our defense. Like, all I need Vando to do is be able to finish around the rim. That's all I need from you, Vando. Oh,
Smart,
making it
Ayton,
hard on
Gabe
me.
Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, Dalton Connect, Jackson Hayes, and Jake
And why
LaRavia.
ain't Dalton Connect traded yet?
And this is a group that I don't know if you can fully trust, especially on the defensive side of the floor. There's talent for sure, but there are just so many question marks. That being said, when Luka Doncic is flirting with a 30-point triple-double every single night, and LeBron James is still a top 15 player in the NBA next season, you're absolutely going to win a ton of...
We haven't even talked about possibly the best offensive third option in the NBA, Austin Reeves. We haven't talked about him. We haven't spoken about him.
Regular season contests, regardless of the defensive issues. And that's why, even
I'm interested to see who his number 6
is. I just mentioned, I believe the Lakers will still land at number 7.
Have you ever wanted to see your home from space? With this free satellite Earth Maps tool, you can zoom
Oh my
right
God,
down
an
to your
ad.
exact address
Just
in just
skip
seconds.
this.
Now, at number 6, I have the Houston
Okay.
Rockets. And honestly,
He's dropped on the Houston, and I actually, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna do another reaction video talking about the Fred VanVleet situation. So I'm just going to, as a matter of fact, we already here. We might as well talk about it. I wanted to do a whole video, but we're like a week removed from the Fred VanVleet situation. And me being a smaller YouTuber, if you want to talk about current events in basketball, you have to do it that day before all the bigger YouTubers talk about it. And I just wasn't able to do it. I think Houston is obviously this is a very big loss for Houston. This is a team that already was concerned about their ball handling issues when Fred VanVleet wasn't on the floor. Now he won't be there for the entire season. And now it puts you in a situation where you can have 3 different starting lineups. Okay, you can have 3 different starting lineups. You can either go with a starting lineup of Reed Shepherd, Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith, and Alperen Sengun, which I do think that takes away from some of the wins that they could possibly get in the regular season, because it's going to be a development process for Reed Shepherd. Throughout the season, he's gotten better with his shot taking and shot making, and with his on ball creation and reps, with his pull up mid range shooting, and just being able to be more confident on the perimeter. But I don't think he's ready to be a ball handler for a team that's so limited with their ball handling, and a team that's trying to contend. So it's like Scoot. It's like Scoot when he was playing with Portland. Imagine how bad Scoot would have looked if they didn't have Anthony Simons in his first 2 seasons, and they were trying to contend. Like having a young guard who still has to like learn on how to be like a floor general in today's NBA, it's going to be very difficult, and it's only going to make it worse because the lack of 3-point shooting is going to be a problem, the spacing is going to be a problem, and the limited ball handling that this team has. I think that's going to eat away at some of those wins. They're going to lose a couple of games if Reed Shepherd is starting, and there might be a couple of bad turnovers or some bad timing turnovers to where that could cost them a couple of games. Now the other 2 options is you run Amen Thompson at the point guard, you put DFS next to him, you have Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith, and Alperen Sengun. That is the lineup where you just dive into what makes you so good. The versatility, the size, the speed, the defense, the rebounding, and you just pressure the ball every single chance you get. You're going to be you're the number 1 in the league last year in offensive rebound percentage, number 1 in the league in rebound percentage. Just pressure the ball, get out in transition with a men, and score. Pressure the ball. This is something that OKC did a lot last season when SGA was on the floor, because they were kind of limited in half-court offense, so they really were aggressive on defense. Now, the only difference between Houston and OKC in that matter is OKC could be a little bit more aggressive on the perimeter because they had the speed to recover, and they also had one of the greatest rim protectors in the league last season in Chet Holmgren when he played. But then you also had backline rim protection like a Jalen Williams when he was a low man, or an Isaiah Hartenstein when he was a low man. So you also had really solid rim protection while being that aggressive on the perimeter. I don't know if Houston has that. I think Alperen Sengun is a solid rim protector. Do I think he's fantastic? Do I think he's really good for the Houston Rockets to play that level of aggression? Maybe, because Amen Thompson's also a really good rim protector. But I think that would be what I go with. Or you go with Amen, Tari, KD, Jabari, and Sengun. That only thing with me is I think the floor spacing is going to be absolutely awful. But with Tari Eason and Amen Thompson on the floor together, they can like terrorize, and Jabari can be that point of attack. Kevin Durant can also be another backline rim protector if you want to turn up the turnover percentage on opposing teams. It's going to be very interesting to see what their starting lineup looks like in game 1, which is right around the corner.
had made this video just a week ago, they'd probably be sitting higher. But the recent news of Fred VanVleet's ACL injury is just a real gut punch for the team. Houston just went all in by bringing in Kevin Durant, and VanVleet was supposed to be a massive part of why this roster was going to work. His ability to handle the ball under pressure, keep turnovers low, run efficient pick and roll actions with Alperen Şengün, and knock down the three-point shot was exactly what the team needed. Now without him, that dynamic completely shifts. Instead of VanVleet, the Rockets are now looking at Reed Shepherd and Aaron Holiday as their remaining options in the backcourt, which likely means we're going to see a lot of Amen Thompson and even Kevin Durant handling the ball. That's going to be
did he do
fine
that to
against
Luka?
most teams, but against elite defenses, especially like OKC, who love to pressure you in the backcourt, that could be a major issue. Neither KD or Amen is the type of brilliant ball handler that you'd feel comfortable with being pressured 94 feet and not coughing it up. And this is why I can't help but wonder whether or not a trade could be coming, where Houston looks to bring in another steady guard. Of course,
They need just go sign Russ. Just go sign Russ. Like, I'll just call Russ up. Like, look, KD, bro, you're going to have to be all right, man. We got to go call Russ. We got to call Russ. Have to call him. You have to, I think. I think you need to call him.
Is their timing. Most of the league's trade market doesn't really open up until mid-December, where the free agents who just signed over the summer become eligible to be moved. For Houston, that's basically half their roster, so they're going to have to sit tight for a little while. But in the meantime, they'll get a good chance to see whether or not KD and Amen can actually hold things down in their new roles as makeshift point guards, or if this weakness is just too glaring. If they do look to make a move, the obvious trade chips would be someone like a Steven Adams, or maybe even Reed Shepherd. But that would be a tough pill to swallow, considering Shepherd was the 3rd overall pick and barely got to play last season, even though he showed flashes of real potential. Still though, with Kevin Durant in his late 30s, and the Rockets clearly going all in, the window is right now, and tough decisions may have to be made. The good news is that defensively, I believe this team should be one of the best units in the league.
They're going to be a top
again.
5 defense.
And if
They're going to be a
Amen
top 5
Thompson
defense.
and Alperen Şengün
They're going to be a top 5
both take
defense
the
for
kind
sure.
of leaps that I believe they will this season, then Houston absolutely has more than enough upside to climb right back into the top 5 of this list. But for right now, after the devastating VanVleet injury news, I believe they slip down to number 6. Now, coming in at number 5, I've got the Minnesota Timberwolves. And honestly, I think they're the most underrated.
He's much higher on the Knicks than I am. Much higher on the Knicks than I am. But again,
team in basketball right now. Believe it or not, the betting markets have them all the way down as the 9th most likely team to win the title, sitting behind the Clippers, Lakers, and the Orlando Magic. I mean, the Magic? That's shocking to me. But when we really break it down, it is pretty obvious.
Yeah, we
that
understand it's
Minnesota
shocking to
are
you. You
not
didn't have
this
him on the
low.
list.
The biggest reason is Anthony Edwards. Last offseason, Edwards dedicated himself to improve his three-point shooting, and it paid off in a massive way, going from a 35% shooter in the 2024 season to nearly 40% this season, finishing at 39.5% from deep. That kind of a leap showed just how quickly he can master something when he sets his mind to it. And this offseason, we got word on what he's been grinding away on, and that's his mid-range and post-up game. Apparently, he's been watching hours of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan film, trying to master their mid-post magic to add to his scoring arsenal.
He better not. He better not, bro. He better not. He better not come out next year with some type of mid-post game. Oh, he might become one of my favorite players.
And
he
if he adds that to his bag, he would truly become a 3-level scorer, and that is a terrifying thought for the rest of the league. Personally, I had been hoping he'd be focusing on his playmaking, and even though that wasn't the case, I still believe he should be a better decision maker this season just because he's had more experience. But all in all, this makes me so excited to watch Anthony Edwards this season. And then there's the defense. Minnesota has had a title contender level defense for quite some time now. They've been good enough on that side of the floor to win the title already, but it's been their offense that has always felt like they're missing something. If Ant continues to take these leaps, that might not be the case anymore. This realistically could be the year where the Wolves are truly elite on both sides of the floor. They also did a really impressive job of keeping their core together last season. I honestly thought they were going to be forced to move on from either Julius Randle or Naz Reid because of salary cap restrictions, but somehow they're both back. That's massive for their depth and versatility. But losing Nickeil Alexander-Walker,
I was going to say losing Nickeil
hurts.
Alexander-Walker might be a big deal for them. I think it was a big
some
deal.
Young guys who can step into the role. Terrence Shannon Jr. already showed flashes in the conference finals, proving that he was ready for the big stage. And I have no doubt that he'll be a part of the rotation moving forward and should do just fine. Jalen Clark and Rob Dillingham, though, are less proven. But if either one of them can take a step up and be a viable piece next season, Minnesota could actually come out of this offseason looking even better. The more realistic outcome, though, is that they probably stay around about the same as last year, which, for me, is still absolutely good enough to be a top 5 team in the league.
To everyone who believes in Midwest magic,
You know you got some ads in here, boy. You got some
Midwest
ads.
Magic transforms Wisconsin cheese into golden.
Now, at number 4, I have the...
No, bro, what? Don't tell me you got the Knicks ahead. He has the Knicks ahead of the Cavs? Oh, come
Cleveland
on.
Cavaliers.
Come on.
Now, originally,
on. You are
I had
really
Houston
high
in
on New
this
York.
spot, but once I heard about
Oh
the
my
Fred
God.
VanVleet ACL news, the Rockets did have to slide down, and that's opened the door for Cleveland to take this spot. The Cavs have had their fair share of playoff struggles in recent years, but last season really wasn't one of those choked under pressure situations. For me, it was much more about the injuries. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and DeAndre Hunter, 3 of their 6 best players last season, were all dealing with significant injuries in that series, and that completely shifted just how deep of a run they could have gone on. On top of that, Indiana turned out to be way better than we all expected, making it all the way to a Game 7 in the finals with a more than realistic chance to win the championship.
It's so crazy to
when
me.
you
It's
look
so
back,
crazy to me because I have Cleveland at number 2. I have Cleveland at number 2. Like, I think the finals is Lakers Cavs. Like, I mean, come on, bro. Like, don't like chill, okay? Because I know y'all about to start beating your keyboards. I got Lakers Cavs, and it's strictly because of narrative. And like, bro, LeBron James, final year of his career, Game 7 in Cleveland, he drops 43, 10, and 12 to win Finals MVP for the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, come on, bro. What's better than that? What's better than that?
Cleveland really were right there last season.
But
and
in
if
all
they had a
okay, I'm gonna stop trolling. In all seriousness, though, the Cavs being at, I mean, given now that the Cavs being at 4 does not sound crazy until you realize that he has the Knicks over them. The Knicks are not a better team than Cleveland. They're not. They're not. When you have the level of defensive liabilities that Cat and Brunson are, I can't put them over a team like Cleveland. I just can't. I cannot. I think adding Lonzo Ball is going to be fantastic. Another year of DeAndre Hunter and hopefully an Evan Mobley improvement. I think this Cavs team is the second best team in the league. I really do.
been just a bit healthier, I think they absolutely could have won that Pacers series. Add in the fact that Mobley should take another leap this season, and maybe even Garland as well, and this Cavaliers team is set up to be much stronger next year. Mobley is probably the team's biggest X factor. By the end of this upcoming season, I wouldn't be shocked if he's now their best player. If Evan can grow into a consistent 20 plus points per game scorer while staying in the hunt contention for the Defensive Player of the Year, he could be a real superstar for them next season. Garland and Allen, meanwhile, are both entering what feels like prove-it years for me. If Cleveland has another disappointing run, I don't think the core of Mitchell, Mobley, Garland, and Allen will be together the year after that. There's a lot riding on this group, and they have to prove that they can win when the lights are absolutely at the brightest. As for Donovan Mitchell, he was the head of the snake last season, no doubt, putting up 24 points per game in the regular season, where the Cavaliers' offense was more shared and he was playing less minutes, which was still good enough for him to finish 5th in MVP voting. But then, once
he got all NBA first team. I forgot they gave all NBA first team to Donovan Mitchell. Did they do that? Donovan Mitchell, fantastic hooper, fantastic basketball player. You were not all NBA first team caliber this year. No disrespect. No disrespect. No disrespect. No disrespect. No disrespect at all. Because Donovan Mitchell is a fantastic basketball player. I just don't think he should have been on all NBA first team. Nah. Nah.
Season came around, he cranked things
right,
up
I would
even
love
further,
to hear this.
exploding to nearly 30 points per
I would love to hear what he's going to say about New York.
game on just over 50% effective field goal shooting. That's just who Donovan Mitchell is. He rises to the big moments time and time again. And even if the team's success just hasn't been there yet, I believe this season is Donovan's best chance to see some legitimate playoff success. Now, coming in as the third most likely team to win the championship this season, I've got the New York Knicks. Now, I know some people might be surprised that I have Cleveland sitting behind New York, but when it comes down to it, I simply
tell me.
trust the Knicks' ability to win playoff games more than I do the Cavaliers right now. For me, the biggest reason for that is Jalen Brunson. He's quickly becoming one of the best playoff risers of this generation. Last postseason, he averaged nearly 30 points per game, 29.4 to be exact, along with 7 assists while shooting 52% effective field goal shooting. Those are absolutely superstar level numbers, and he delivers when the lights are the brightest pretty much every single time. When you've got a guy who raises his game that much in the postseason, you've already got a massive advantage over the rest of the comp. And then there's the coaching change. The Knicks brought in Mike Brown, and I really think he could take them to another level. The most likely adjustment that we're going to see is Josh Hart shifting out of the starting 5 and becoming the team's 6th man. Apparently, there's been pictures floating around of Josh Hart wearing the practice top in the Knicks training camp, while Mitchell Robinson is with the starters. So I think this change is very likely. Also, I think Josh Hart can really thrive.
That's interesting. It is interesting. It's still not enough for me to put them over Cleveland.
Guy coming off the bench to push the pace, defend multiple positions, handle the ball more, and just bring energy to those second unit minutes. That leaves us with the projected starting group of Brunson, Bridges, Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns, and Mitchell Robinson. A really strong 5 loaded with size, defense, and multiple guys who can create and knock down shots. The bigger question, though, is exactly how Brown is going to tweak both sides of the ball. I don't think we're going to see New York playing at the same pace that Brown's teams did in Sacramento, because I just don't think they have the personnel to be going that fast. But I do think he's going to try and speed them up, especially in the half court. Pace doesn't just mean about running. It's also about making decisions faster, swinging the ball, and not letting the defense get too comfortable. This is where I think we're going to see the Knicks evolve. Then, on the defensive side of the floor, pairing Towns with Robinson actually makes a lot of sense. Robinson can handle the dirty work, protecting the rim and guarding inside, while Towns can conserve a little bit more energy and potentially avoid foul trouble, which would be massive for the team, because that's been an issue.
But then, what do you do with him? What do you do with him? What do you do with him? If they're playing the Magic, what is he going to guard? Franz? Is he going to guard Paolo? You're not putting him in front of Desmond. You're not putting him in front of Desmond Bane against Atlanta. What is he going to do? Is he going to guard Jalen Johnson? Against Cleveland, what is he going to do? Is he going to, like, I could understand it. Like, you won the rebounding, the possession game, you're going to win that. You're going to win that a lot with these two as your starting front court. But I just think with out in space, I'm not the biggest fan of that.
Entire career. Then, with Bridges and OG still locking up the wings, I think this team has great defensive potential. It's still early days though, and we need to see how Brown's system fully clicks once they're out there. But the direction at least is pretty clear. This is going to be a deeper Knicks team with a clearer identity and with more ways to win than we've seen in previous years. And that for me is why they belong in the top 3, at least once the playoffs roll around.
Chase Lounge access at experiences you'll never forget with Chase Freedom
What?
Unlimited.
Did he just say
Now coming
top 3 championship team, the top 10 championship teams until the playoffs roll around? Just say the top 10 regular season teams. Anyway. Oh my God, I hate when that happens.
in at number 2, I have the Denver Nuggets. The betting markets actually have the Cleveland Cavaliers as the second most likely team to win the championship this season.
I think Denver's a really good team. I do think Denver's a really good team. I don't know, man. I do think Denver's a really good team. That's all I'm gonna say. Until I really think about the take that I have in my head, I'm gonna think about it for a little while.
But for me, it's absolutely going to be Denver. And my reasoning for this is pretty simple. Nikola Jokic. Last season, the Joker put together yet another absurd campaign. He finished second in MVP voting while averaging nearly a 30-point triple-double, just 0.4 points off of that mark, while adding 1.8 steals per game and, remarkably, hitting over 40% from deep. That kind of deep shooting efficiency is absolutely insane for a big man, but the shooting isn't even his best trait, not even close. That's, of course, his playmaking. He has quite literally been Denver's entire offensive system for years now. Since 2017, he's consistently been in the 90th percentile or higher for usage rate, and last season, he was all the way up in the 97th percentile league-wide. That means virtually everything runs through Jokic. And for anybody who still throws around the stat patter label when talking about Jokic, that's just an argument that doesn't hold up. His assists directly lead to some of the most efficient scoring opportunities in basketball. He's been in the 100th percentile in assist percentage every single year since 2018. And that's absolutely not a fluke. It's just Nikola Jokic being exactly who he is, the best playmaker in the league. And when you take all of that into account, plus the fact that Denver still managed to take the eventual champion OKC Thunder to 7 games in the second round last season, despite having one of the worst bench units in league history, getting outscored by an insane minus 31 points per 100 possessions, it makes you realize just how scary they are. Now with an upgraded supporting cast, that weakness isn't nearly as glaring. Bruce Brown is back, Tim Hardaway Jr. is in the mix, and I'm buying all of the stock in Peyton Watson. That gives them a real 7 or even 8-man rotation.
I'm buying that stock too as well. I am buying some Peyton Watson stock. He's probably going to be really good this year, and I'm pretty sure he's going to get some sneaky all defensive votes. I just want that to be known. Like, I think he's going to have that. I think he's going to have that Tumani Kamara season where nobody knew about him, and then out of nowhere, everybody loves Tumani Kamara. But again,
compared to the 5.5 guys they could trust in last season's playoffs. Then there's Jamal Murray. Yes, he does tend to coast throughout the regular season, which has even led some Nuggets fans to throw around the idea of trading him. Personally, I think that's crazy. This is a guy who's proven time and time again that once the playoffs roll around, he's able to raise his level. His 2-man game with Nikola Jokic is still one of the toughest actions to guard in the league, and it always shows shows up in the postseason. And on top of all of that, I think Cam Johnson is a sneaky upgrade over Michael Porter Jr. His defense,
This shouldn't be sneaky. This shouldn't be sneaky. I just think Cam Johnson is just the better player. This shouldn't be sneaky. The only reason people are saying it's sneaky is because their main thing is the same thing, like the shot making, the 3-point shooting. That's what people just look at Michael Porter Jr. and Cam Johnson and be like, oh, same player. No, it's not the same player. It's not the same player. Cam Johnson is a far better passer and ball handler than Michael Porter Jr. That's going to open up a lot. It's going to open up a lot.
Athleticism and even his playmaking, I believe, will make him a much cleaner fit in that starting five. If that's the case, Denver will not only have a stronger bench unit, but they might actually have a better starting five as well. So when you put all of this together, the best player in the league, a deeper bench, and a more balanced starting five, then you've got a Nuggets team that somehow got even better this offseason. And for me, that's why I have them here as the second most likely team to win it all this season. But they're not at number one, as here, I obviously have the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is the reigning champion, a team that won 68 games last regular season, despite barely being healthy at all. They had the league MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who not only took that trophy home, but also won the scoring title and the finals MVP, delivering the Thunder their first championship since moving to Oklahoma City. It was one of the most all-time dominant seasons we've ever seen from a team. And even though Denver really did push them in the second round, I actually think the Thunder are going to be even better this year too.
We know everything about the Thunder. Like, I'm not gonna say we know everything, but some of the questions I have for OKC is or some of the questions I've had over the offseason has been are they going to like take their foot off the gas since they're champions and kind of like try to get through the regular season healthy? Because, you know, they didn't have Chet Holmgren for a huge chunk of the season. They missed Isaiah Hartenstein for some games. Do I think that they're going to like take a step back this season and not be as dominant on the defensive side of the floor and try and like, you know, just get through the regular season? But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, this team is still one of the youngest teams in the NBA. And we're not in a Western Conference where you can just coast to the number 3 seed and still get to the NBA Finals. You can get the number 1 seed and end up playing Dallas. like, that's tough. Like, I don't know if you can just coast through the NBA, especially not in the Western Conference. So that's one of the biggest questions I had. I still think Shai's going to average his 30. I can't wait for the improvements from J-Dub and Chet Holmgren because I do think they're going to be there. I think Cason Wallace is going to have a better shooting season this year, hopefully, because he was a solid 3-point shooter in his rookie season. And I'm excited to see Thomas Sorber and Nikola Topic. So if you guys like this type of content, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at @thebuzzersports_. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at ATBSports1. And make sure you guys follow me on TikTok at @thebuzzerENT. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.